And our excitement is also due to the presence of his guest Gauranga Prabhu being with us on this wonderful occasion. He does not require introduction, but Gauranga Prabhu is a B.Tech graduate from IIT Bombay and is serving in various capacities at national and global level in ISKCON organization. There will be a quiz after this. He is a global duty officer for the ISKCON Governing Body Commission, trustee of ISKCON GBC College, member of the GBC Organizational Development Committee and GBC Nominations Committee, divisional director of for devotee care, temple development systems and administration departments of ISKCON temples all over the world. He is the director of the Govardhan Eco Village. In 2017 alone, through his efforts, GV has received more than 9 awards. He is also serving as a trustee and administrative director for Bhaktivedanta Research Center, Calcutta. So let's welcome by loudly chanting Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. தமிழ் மொழிபெயர்ப்பு யாருக்கு வேணுமோ அவங்களாம் டெம்பிள் ஹாலில் போயிடலாம். அங்கே தமிழ் மொழிபெயர்ப்பு நடக்கிறது. ஹரே கிருஷ்ணா.
He was saying something. Yes,
same regular Bhagavatam Zoom link. Same regular Bhagavatam Zoom link. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Yeah.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Paribrajaka Acharya Ashtodharaksi Srimad. Srimad Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Sri Giri Govardhan ki ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की, पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की, नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की, गंगा माई की, जमुना माई की, भक्ति देवी की, कृष्ण भक्ति प्रदायिनी श्रीमती तुलसी महारानी की, कलियुग पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की, हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की, श्रील प्रभुपाद ट्रांसलेटेड बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे. All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Mahashay ki, Shri Vasant Panchami ki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिने. नमस्ते सरस्वतीदेवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा. So thank you very much to His Holiness Bhanu Swami Maharaj and ISKCON Chennai leadership team for inviting me for this annual Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur festival. So today I will speak from the 8th canto, Bhagavatam, Gajendra's Pastimes, and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's comments on some of those verses. Atra sarga visargascha thanam poshanamutaya manavantara ishanu katha nirodha muktirashraya. The 10 topics of Bhagavatam is creation, subcreation, the position where the jivas burn their karmas, nourishment, poshanam, which is the 6th canto, utaya, shubh, ashubh, ichha. Prahlad Maharaj represents shubh ichha, auspicious desires, and Hiranyakashipu represents inauspicious desires. Then 8th canto is manvantara, which means how even within the material world Krishna comes in his different avatars to support the various personalities who are trying to manage this creation. Manvantara. So therefore, in this particular pastime, we will see how the Lord in his manifestation as Hari came and helped Gajendra, thus demonstrating that bhakti is independent of a particular species, any condition. Ahoituki apratihata yatma suprasidati. So the 8th canto describes about a place in the heavenly planets which is known as Trikuta Parvat, which is described as 10,000 yojanas in height, length and width with 3 peaks, having the peaks of gold and silver and iron, and it is standing in the middle of an ocean which is surrounded by a beach which has jewels all around. Denizens from the heavenly planets who take bath in this water, their bodies are so fragrant that they make the waters fragrant by the touch of their bodies. Material world is a place which is full of color and varieties. And that's what Srila Prabhupada explains, that when people hear about the description of the universe in different places, they get bewildered. They do not understand how such variety is possible. But Srila Prabhupada is explaining very clearly that beyond a certain limit, one has to understand based on faith from Shastra. Shwabid varaha ushtra kharaihi samsuta purusha pashu nayam karna pathopeta jatu nama gadagraja. And Prabhupada quotes that men who are like, in the animalistic tendencies, they cannot understand the pure, authentic description of the scriptures. Someone came to Srila Prabhupada and said, Srila Prabhupada, the scientists have now created a dog with 2 heads, which is a great accomplishment. A dog with 2 heads. Prabhupada said immediately, Ravana had 10 heads. And he was just like a big dog because he did not know the line of dharma. So the purpose of human life is to understand the direction in which we are going. Modern education system is focused on the speed, not on the direction. If you are only focused on the accelerator and you have no idea of your GPS, one will go to hell faster. And therefore Prahlad Maharaj asks the question, which is more expensive, to go to hell or to go to Vaikuntha? Says that if you have to go to hell, you have to engage in sinful activities. Liquor costs more than Nimbu Sharbat. Meat costs more than potato. So all kinds of sinful activities will entail larger expense. You need more budget to engage in sin. But to go back to Godhead, chanting is free, dancing is free, prasadam is free. So why to engage in so much of sinful activity? Simply to increase our own burden. Amanistarete tomar iha agaman parama dayalu tumi patita pavan. When Lord Chaitanya comes in front of Ramananda Rai in Kovur, Ramananda Rai says, my human life is successful because of satsang, your presence. You are Parama Dayalu, supremely merciful. You are deliverer of the fallen. Then he defines who is fallen. What is the definition of fallen? Sometimes we may think, I am chanting 16 rounds, following principles. Maybe Jagai and Madhai are fallen, not me. So he defines fallen as Vedanishtha Madhye Ardhe Kaveda Mukhe Mane Veda Nishiddha Papa Kore Dharma Nahi Gone. One who understands from scripture what is to be done, what is not to be done, but still unable to practice that, unable to apply that, fails at the point of determination and discrimination and dedication and engages in sinful activities and regrets repeatedly. That is patita. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada writes, we have to follow in the footsteps of the Mahajans. We should not take the association of devotees cheaply. We can only get the strength to understand scripture, have conviction in scripture, apply the scripture, and practice tenets of bhakti by the cumulative strength obtained by the Vaishnava's grace. Otherwise, it is not possible. Vaishnavera gunagrahi na dekhaye dosh, koy mane vakya kore Vaishnava santosh. Therefore, try to see the good qualities in Vaishnavas, not their faults. When we appreciate, serve, glorify the Vaishnavas, their grace flows. By the power of that grace, conviction deepens. And then the words of the scripture become manifest and real. And therefore, somebody told Srila Prabhupada, when they were instituting the Bhaktivedanta Institute, the scientific wing of ISKCON, one devotee proposed, Srila Prabhupada, can we call this institute as Bhaktivedanta Research Institute? Prabhupada said, research is already done. Verdict is already declared in the scripture. We just need to apply that. And therefore, we find that spiritual world is different from the material world. That even here, in this location, the lions are roaring, and hearing the sound of the lions, the animals are fleeing. And then there is this very, very powerful elephant known as Gajendra, who is walking through. And as he is putting his feet on the ground, surrounded by she-elephants, surrounded by his associates who have all accepted his supremacy, there is a clear-cut communication. I am the king, all of you are subordinate. I am in control, you are dependent. You have to worship me, accept me. And then there are others who aspire for that position, and there is envy. Paravatanya brita sarasa chakravaka datyuha shukatitiri barhinamva kolahalam viramate chiramatramuchai bhrangadipe harikatham ivagayamane. The spiritual world is conspicuous by the absence of envy. Otherwise, envy is a concomitant factor in the material world from the lowest planet till the highest heavenly planet. And therefore, if we aspire to go to the spiritual world, then we should aspire to isolate our consciousness from the stigma of envy, the anartha of envy. And that is a major challenge, because in the spiritual world there are the birds, Parabata, Sarasa, Chakravaka, Datyuha, cuckoo birds, peacocks, all of them are singing beautifully, but as soon as the honeybee starts singing, they all become quiet. They defer out of respect to the honeybee, that what the honeybee is speaking, singing, sharing is in glorification of Krishna. And if someone is glorifying Krishna, serving Krishna, supporting Krishna, spreading the mission of Krishna, we should not become obstacle in that. We should play a supporting role in that. That is the Vaikuntha consciousness, the consciousness of the spiritual world. And so, various kinds of fruits and trees in the Ritumat garden are described in the Trikuta mountain, which is the chutas, the mangoes, the amratakas, kritamukas, coconut trees, and all kinds of beautiful trees and flowers. And all the chirping of the birds was all creating a very melodious ambience. When we see a beautiful sight, we say it is heavenly. So it was really in heaven only where all of these beautiful ambience was in place. The main point which is being driven is even in the most heavenly, apparently peaceful location in this universe, externally, outwardly, everything looks super attractive. But it is just camouflaging the lurking danger and the fire within which is about to burn and burst, which is not visible. That is called Maya, that which is not. Idam shariram parinama peshalam patatyavashyam shatasandhi jarjaram kimaushadam pritchasi mudha durmate niramayam krishna rasayanam piba. Maharaj Kulashekar, the great Alvar, he says, do not become obsessed with this body. Do not have high hopes with this body. Idam shariram parinama peshalam. It will go through transformation. What kind of transformation? Decay, disease, and then finally death. Patati avashyam. It will fall. The body will fall, the body will be destroyed. Shata sandhi jarjaram. And millions of diseases are already lurking within, waiting to explode. Every atom and cell within this body is actually an explosive. It is actually an explosive ready to explode with pain. Roga mandiram. The body is known as a temple of disease and pain. Kimaushadam pritchasi. Why you are asking for medicine? Moda durmate. O foolish person. Niramayam krishna rasayanam piba. Nourish the soul. Because the body, however healthy, however attractive, however beautiful, however strong, will ultimately be destroyed, and the soul will have to leave. Nourish the soul. Niramayam Krishna Rasayanam Piba. And therefore Krishna Rasayan is the nourishment for the soul. Srila Prabhupada was in Switzerland with Shyama Sundar Prabhu, and they were going by train in the Alps mountain, and they were passing by a very famous ski resort, and Shyam Sundar Prabhu looked at the snow-capped mountains of Alps and told Srila Prabhupada, this is one of the most famous ski resorts, and it is considered heavenly in Switzerland, and it is known as Saint Moritz. Prabhupada turned around, looked outside from the train and said, I see only snow everywhere. There are trees but no leaves, no fruits, no birds. You are calling it heavenly? The description in the Bhagavatam of heaven is something different. You are calling it Saint Moritz, I call it Saint Hellish. And therefore, the Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada writes, presents the total knowledge of the affairs of the universe. No one can calculate the description. No one can challenge the Bhagavatam's description of the material and the spiritual world. And therefore, the fifth canto of Bhagavatam has the entire geography. And then Prabhupada would often test devotees' faith by saying, the sun is closer to the earth than the moon. And when somebody would ask, how is that? And Prabhupada would say, because Sunday comes before Monday. So His Holiness Bhakticharu Maharaj would mention, only when you have total faith in the description of the Bhagavatam in the 5th canto, you are allowed entry into the glories of the holy name in the 6th canto, which describes Ajamil pastime. One cannot enter into the glories of Harinam unless one has Shraddha in Bhagavatam. Kva chaham kitava papa brahmagna nirapatrapa kvacha narayanam tyeti bhagavan nama mangalam. Ajamil is saying, my dear Lord, I am so fallen. I am engaged in so many sinful activities. You are supremely divine, pure, transcendental. Still, without doing a background check, without judging me, without cursing me, without hesitating, you manifested on my tongue, entered into my heart, and brought the Vishnudutas to my rescue. Kvachan Narayanatyeti. Where am I and where are you? Bhagavan Nama Mangalam. That is the power of the glory of the holy name, which is all pure. So now Gajendra enters into this scene. So there are various elements of Gajendra's life. People send their children to the school and college, and the typical aspiration is they should become successful. The difference between success and happiness is success is to get what you like and happiness is to like what you get. And so the whole world is obsessed with making people successful. And what are some of the typical symbols of success? First, power. Second, career. Third, influence. Fourth, prestige. Power, influence, career, prestige. These four things Gajendra had in full. When he would walk, the earth would tremble. The other animals would run away. People would be bewildered. Everybody would come and offer their respect. Gajendra was the undisputed king of that entire planetary situation. He was the king of all of those animals. People aspire for that power. People aspire for influence. People aspire for career. People aspire for prestige. These are important things. And I tell the story. One of my friends went to a conference and he met somebody who gave him a business card, and the business card had that person's name. And along with the name was educational qualification, which was written PhD BF. He said, what is that? He said, PhD but fail. He said, what is this? He said, what to do? My father wanted me to be PhD. Why? My 3 cousins were PhD. So in this world, people are obsessed with not what I can do, but what I can do to outdo. That is a bigger obsession than anything else. So he said, after 2-3 years in PhD, I realized it is beyond my capacity. And Prabhupada says, Bengali, saying, Kapale naiko ghi, thak thakale hoibe ki. If ghee is not written in your, destiny, if you just take a small container and a chammach and keep doing thak 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 thak, ghee will not manifest. Kapale naiko ghee, thak thakale hoibeki. So he dropped out. After dropping out, there was still pressure, you should attend conferences. So he said, I wanted to be honest, so added PhD, BF. And you know what? Most people think this BF is a qualification beyond PhD. You are the first person asking so much detail. So even with practicing devotees, we see social comparison is a major stressor. Their house has 1 feet Gaurnitai. We should have 1.5 feet Gaurnitai. They have wooden altar. We should have marble altar. We should have this altar, that altar. Arey Baba. I already have this car. Now I should get Mercedes. Why? To come to the temple. Arey, you can come to temple in auto also. So therefore, we have to be careful not to get trapped. These are also distractions. One cannot compare with the power, influence, career and prestige which Gajendra had. And therefore, Bhagavatam says, Shrutam cha drishtavad dushtam spardha asuya atyaya vyayai Bahuantaraya kamatvat krishivat chapi nishphalam. Shrutam cha drishtavat. Sometimes we have gone through some experience and we are convinced this experience is pain-giving. One relationship ends in disaster. Drishtavat. But we hear, oh, maybe with someone else we should continue the relationship. Shrutam cha. Shrutam means what we have heard, and based on what we hear and see, we speculate that my previous experience turned out to be disaster, but I have hope that the next one will be something different. No. Punash charvita charvananam. It is called repeatedly chewing the chewed. Therefore, Sambandha Gyan means we have gone through people, relationship with people, possessions, positions over millions of lifetimes. Now, let us try a relationship with Krishna. That is Sambandha Gyan. And so, devotees came to Srila Prabhupada and said, we are trying to distribute book, the Bhagavad Gita as it is, in California. When we show the book to people, they look at the book and say, this is very old book, thousands of years old. We want the latest bestseller which is in the market. And it is a book written by a famous psychiatrist called I Am Okay, You Are Okay. We want this book. I am okay, you are okay. We don't know what to tell them. Prabhupada said, show them the Bhagavad Gita and tell them this Bhagavad Gita is I am okay, you are not okay. You need to understand, I am not the body, I am the soul. And therefore, Saitham nirjita kakub ekarad vishayan priyan yathopajosham bhunjano natripyat ajitendriya. Hiranyakashipu had all sense objects available at his disposal. He had conquered all the directions. Ekarat, the only supreme conqueror, Vishayan Priyan, He had unlimited taste for enjoying, consuming all sense objects unlimitedly. So one may think one who has supreme control, one who has access to all sense objects to enjoy, one who has full power in his body to enjoy, how lucky that person must be. How blissful he must be. But it is described, Yatha upajosham bhunjano. All sense objects available 24/7. But what was Hiranyakashipu's internal experience? Na atripyat. Dissatisfied. Deep dissatisfaction. Disturbing dissatisfaction. Why? Ajitendriya. Because senses were not in control. No dvigna chitto vyasaneshu nispraha shruteshu drishteshu guneshu vastudrik dantendriya prana sharirabhi sada prashanta kamo rahita sura. Exactly opposite is the consciousness of his son Prahlad, who was not attracted and distracted by any sense objects. He was not aspiring for associating with any sense objects in this life and the next. Why? Dantendriya prana sharirabhi sada. His senses were in complete control. And because he had complete sense control, prashanta kamo rahita sura. His consciousness, his mind was perfectly still, like the waters of a calm lake. Prashanta kamo, no lust. Rahita sura. Although he was born asura, he did not have qualities of asura. Sadevaki sarva jagan nivasa bhotam nitaram nareje bhojendra gehe agni shikhe varuddha saraswati jnana khole yatha sati. We find a similar situation where Krishna is in the womb of Devaki. Devaki is in the jailhouse of Kamsa, a place of torture, a place of pain, a place of distress, a place of frustration, a place of bondage. Hiranyakashipu has full freedom. Devaki is completely chained and jailed. But Devaki is in bliss. And the cause of bliss is not the jail or no jail, but the cause of bliss is Krishna is with Devaki. Bhojendra gehe agni shikhe varuddha. And Krishna was like a fire covered by a pot. And that association and the presence of Krishna is the transformative factor in our experience of life. And therefore no amount of power, career, influence and prestige can touch the heart, please the soul. Gajendra had all of it. So beyond these four, Gajendra had fifth. He was surrounded by she-elephants. Unlimited opportunity for sex life. Sixth, he was very hard-working. Seventh, he was very responsible. And eighth, he had unlimited access for enjoyment. So sex life, enjoyment, responsibility, hard-working nature, these are all the checklist we have in the material world for someone who is successful. So from the perspective of the material world, Ajamil had all the trappings of success, luxury, enjoyment, influence. And as they say, it appeared that Gajendra lived happily ever after. That is the dream people have. Live happily ever after. But that is the material world. That as Gajendra enters into the waters of this lake and he starts bathing himself, and after bathing himself, all the she-elephants who are surrounding him, he starts taking the water and throwing on them, enjoying, loving exchanges with the family members, feeling the satisfaction that I am maintaining them, taking care of them, and I am the doer, I am the controller, I am the enjoyer. And it was at that point that suddenly out of the blue, without warning, a crocodile came from below and felt agitated and captured Gajendra's legs. Initially, Gajendra, with full self-confidence in his power, tried to shake this crocodile away. But the crocodile's jaws had sunk deep into Gajendra's legs. He tried again. Nothing happened. Then Gajendra realized it's a serious battle. The battle began between Gajendra and the crocodile. Gajendra trying to free himself from the crocodile, and the crocodile not allowing Gajendra's legs to be moved away. And at this point, the family members of Gajendra who were surrounding him, their first reaction was they left the water and went to the shore. And they started crying, wailing, giving advice. Some devotees in Govardhan Eco Village, we have a river nearby. They had gone for bathing. So one person knew swimming, recently learnt. He jumped into the river and started swimming and crossing the river, thinking it is easy. Suddenly in the middle of the river, he panicked. He panicked and started shouting, "Help, help, help." The devotees who were on the bank, they started chanting Narsing Aarti. One of them said, "Baba, he needs some practical help also, immediately. Apart from this, you continue." And then this devotee jumped in and went and caught hold of him and brought him out. So, here we find that Gajendra is in deep trouble. Nobody to help him. Tato Gajendrasya मनोबलौजसां कालेन दीर्घेन महान् अभूद्व्यय विकृष्यमानस्य जले वसीदतो विपर्ययो भूत् सकलं जलौकस. Beautiful verse where it is described that Gajendra's mental strength, physical strength and sensual strength was getting diminished. Why? Because he was in water. The crocodile was in the water, Gajendra was in the water. The crocodile is a person of the water. The water is the natural position for the crocodile. So the crocodile's strength was growing. Gajendra's strength was diminishing. So Srila Prabhupada mentions a beautiful point in the purport. In our fight with Maya, we should not be in a position where our strength, enthusiasm and senses will be unable to fight vigorously. Strength, enthusiasm and senses will be unable to fight vigorously. So Prabhupada says the soldiers in the Krishna consciousness movement must always possess physical strength, enthusiasm and sensual power. Physical strength, enthusiasm and sensual power. And therefore we must place ourselves in a normal condition of life. What constitutes normal condition for one person will not be the same for others. And therefore one should not take to the renounced order of life artificially before time. And one must acknowledge and respect the importance of the Grihastha ashram. Prabhupada mentions this very, very clearly. And what one should do in the Grihastha ashram? Keep Krishna in the center and make the temple into a home. Home into a temple. Prabhupada said, why do we run temples? So that people can come, get inspired how to transform their homes into temples. I was giving a college student some prasad. He refused to take it. He said, no, I will not take prasad. I said, "Arey, first time I am seeing somebody refusing prasad. Why you are not taking prasad?" He said, I am afraid if I take prasad, my hairstyle will also become like yours. One brahmachari joined the ashram. His father came and started fighting with me. Why is my son joining temple at this age? He should join temple when he is my age. I said, okay, let the son go, you join. He said, I will ask at home and tell you tomorrow. Next day he came and said, let my son only continue. I was in the airport and somebody said, Swamiji, stop. I said, what happened? Bhagavad Gita, you have Bhagavad Gita? I said, not here in the temple. He said, now I am 78, 79 years old. I am thinking this is the best age to start studying the Gita. What do you say, Swamiji? I said, what do you do? He said, I am CA. He said, oh, you are chartered accountant? He said, no, complete aram. So looks like Gita is only for such a stage, right? No. At whatever stage we are in, we need to transform our home into a temple. And when Lord Chaitanya enters the home of Advaita Acharya, he sees Advaita has cooked lot of bhoga for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the deities of his home. And when Lord Chaitanya sees that, Madhya pita grita shikta shalyanyarastup Chauridike vyanjana donga aramugdha soup. He sees huge mounds of rice. How many kilos? 700 kilo of rice Advaita Acharya had made for Gauranga Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. 350 kilo each. And that mountain of rice, he had created a small crater on top and poured pure golden colored ghee in that. Ghrita, madhye pita ghrita, yellowish golden complexion ghee. Sikta shalyannera stup. That ghee had saturated every grain of rice. So when the sunlight was falling on the grain of rice was looking golden effulgent. There is still time for prasad. Charidike, and around that mountain of rice were hundreds of drones, hundreds of containers, pots filled with freshly cooked vegetables and dals and sweet. Hundreds of items. When Lord Chaitanya looks at that, bhoga being offered to the home deities of Sri Advaita, Lord Chaitanya looks at Advaita and says, Aiche anna je Krishna ke karaye bhojan, janme janme shire dharo tahar charan. If someone is able to offer bhoga at his home to the deities at home, aiche anna je Krishna ke karay bhojan. If a householder takes a sankalpa that before I eat, I will feed Krishna at my home and only then I will eat. Only this much sankalpa if a grahastha does, Aiche anna je Krishna ke karay bhojan. Lord Chaitanya says, if you only take this much sankalpa, I have to eat, my family has to eat. But before me and my family eat, we will feed Krishna at home. Only this much sankalpa you take. What will be the impact of that? Lord Chaitanya says, Janme janme shire dharo tahar charan. Life after life, I take the dust of the feet of those grahasthas upon my head. Lord Chaitanya says. That is how grateful Lord Chaitanya becomes to a grahastha who feeds Krishna before feeding themselves and the family. So therefore, tam sukharadhyam rijubhir ananya sharanaindrabhir kritagya kono seveta duraradhyam asadubhi. Question arises, is bhakti simple or difficult? It is simple. If one is grateful, kritagya kono seveta, with gratitude. So therefore all one needs to do in one's household or life is remain grateful for all that Krishna has given and offer it to Krishna. Ghore Krishna bhaji more kora ashirvade nilachale asijena tomar prasade. Lord Chaitanya tells Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, you are worshipping Krishna at home. Therefore you are empowered to bless me. Prabhupada is saying in the purport, Sannyasi should bless Grahastha. Sannyasi is seeking blessings of Grahastha. What is this? And Prabhupada says, if someone sincerely worships Krishna at home, Lord Chaitanya empowers that Grahastha with unlimited spiritual potency to the extent of even blessing the sannyasis. And therefore, bhakti is not dependent on ashram, dependent on consciousness. And even in Grahastha ashram, one can be extremely advanced in Krishna consciousness if we follow the process properly. That is what here through the Gajendra's pastime we understand. That Gajendra is an animal of the land, but when he is in water, he is weak. So if one is supposed to be brahmachari, becomes grahastha, he will be weak in the grahastha ashram. If someone is supposed to be grahastha, becomes brahmachari, that person will be weak in the brahmacharya ashram, because they are in the wrong ambience. A person of the land in water will be weak, a person of the water on the land will be weak. So one has to appropriately be engaged in the right ashram. And so at this time, Gajendra introspects in difficulty. And what does Gajendra introspect? Namam ime gyataya aturam gaja kuta karinya prabhavanti mochitum grahena pashena vedhatur avrito pyaham cha tam yame param parayanam. Gajendra is saying, I am the king of the jungle, I am all powerful, but I am trapped in this situation. When I am in difficulty, I turn to my family, to my friends, to my other subjects to support and help the king in difficulty. But those friends and relatives could not rescue me from danger. They could not do anything. Grahena pashena vidhatur avrito. It is by the power of providence, destiny, that I have been trapped. And therefore, in this situation, my wives are unable to help me, my colleagues are unable to help me. I cannot find rescue through economic development, through political influence, through powerful social status. In this state, I need to completely depend helplessly. Pyaham cha tam yami param parayanam on the Supreme Lord. That Supreme Lord only, who is the shelter of everyone, of great personalities. And therefore, he realizes that I am dependent on him. And so it is described here. Parikshit Maharaj also prays, Tasyaiva meghasya paravaresho vyasakta chittasya griheshva bhikshnam nirveda mulo dvijashapa rupo yatra prasakto bhayamashu dhatte. I have been cursed to die in 7 days and 7 nights because of my own mistake. But it is Krishna's will to free me from my own attachments, because I would not give up on my own. Nirveda mulo dvija shapa rupo. The curse of Shringi came handy to detach me. Yatra prasakto bhayamashu dhatte. And in the form of that fear, the fear of death, forced me to relinquish my kingdom, my power, my influence, my wealth, my prosperity, and sit here with folded hands in front of all the sages, awaiting the intervention of the Supreme Lord. Yashodama is looking into Krishna's mouth and sees the universe as she gets bewildered. And she says, Aham mamasao patiresha me suto vrajeshwarasya khila vittapasati gopyascha gopa sahagodhanascha me tammayaya me kumati samemati. I was thinking, I am the controller, I am the Vrindavaneshwari, Queen of Braj. Nanda Maharaj is the king, my husband. Gopis are my subjects. Gopas belong to me. I have so much of wealth of the cows and the calves. So many illusions I had that I am in control. But when I see that my efforts to help my son Krishna be safe is failing repeatedly, I realize I am not in control. I want to protect my son, but now universe has entered into his mouth. So therefore all I know is Ishvara Parama Krishna. I may not know why something has happened, but I know behind that particular incident, the Supreme Controller is in control. Anadi Radir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. I may not know the details of this Karan, but I know there is that Karan, Sarva Karana Karanam. And therefore what should I do? Tattenu kampa susamikshamana. Let me tolerate. Understanding it is my own karma from last life being sent through some other instrument. Let me not become angry with the instrument of my own karma. Let us not become angry with the instruments of our karma. Gajendra had not planned for a disaster. Gajendra had planned for a vacation. But Krishna sent the disaster. And so he is bewildered. Why is this happening? That yes, it is the Lord's will. The Nagapatnis are praying to Krishna. Kasyanubhavosya na deva vidmahe tavangri reno sparashadhikara yadvanchaya shri lalana charattapo vihaya kaman suchiran dridhavrataha. Oh my dear Lord Krishna, one who has subdued our husband Kaliya, Kasyanubhavo asya na deva vidmahe. You are our worshipable Lord, but you danced upon our husbands hundreds and thousands of heads, of Kaliya's heads. Tavangri renu sparashadhikara, and the dust from your lotus feet sprinkled upon Kaliya's head. What pious activity had Kaliya done in previous life to earn that? Sparasha adhikara. How he got that adhikar? Because to get the dust of Krishna's lotus feet, Lakshmi Devi is also aspiring. Yadvanchaya Shri Lalana Charattapo, and engaged in austerities. Vihaya Kaman Suchiran Dridhabrata. In Shrivan, Belvan in Vrindavan, she is still performing austerities to get Krishna's dust of lotus feet. And therefore, it is by the Lord's will that He intervenes in devotees' lives, creates distress and adversity. When the adversity hits us, we are bewildered. Why this has come? But a devotee understands that this adversity has been sent by Krishna to bring me closer to Him. Samashritaye padapallavaplabam mahatpadam punya yasho murare bhavam buddhirvatsa padam param padam yat vipadam natesham. Brahmaji says, my dear Lord, this entire material world is full of danger at every step. But if someone takes shelter of Krishna's lotus feet, all of those distresses which are like an ocean shrinks into the size of a puddle of water which is contained within the hoof print of a calf. And therefore, this material world is a place of distress and disaster. It cannot be changed at any cost. Balasya neha sharanam pitarau narasingha nartasya chagada mudanvati majjato now. Prahlad also tells Lord Narsingha Dev, every parent wants their child to be safe, but still one cannot protect. We have every doctor who wants the patient to live, but many times in spite of the best medicine, nothing can be done. Every captain of the ship wants the ship to cross the ocean, but still sometimes the storm may capsize the ship. One should not think, I am the doer. Krishna is the doer. We should always remember that. And therefore, when Hanumanji comes to Ashok Vatika, he tells Sita Devi, my dear Sita, jump on my back. I will take you back to Lord Ram in one moment. Ramayana is over. Now, if Hanuman is giving that proposal to Sita, jump on my back, I'll take you back. Shortcut, ready. If that proposal is given to people in Kali Yuga, they will immediately accept. And when we tell that Sita did not accept that offer, Kali Yuga intelligence will say, she was not practical. What a golden opportunity. So Sita says, Hanumanji, I cannot accept. You know why? For 3 reasons. 1, when I am sitting on you, I look at the ocean, I may get nervous and fall down. I may get vertigo. Hanumanji says, ocean is your father. You cannot become nervous by seeing the ocean. Sita says, the Rakshasas may attack you. You will not be able to defend me. Hanumanji grows in size, reaches the sky, brings back to his normal size and says, now you saw my size? You have any doubt? I can handle any category of Rakshasa. Then Sita says, but you are a Parapurusha, you are not my husband, how can I touch you? Hanumanji says, I am your son. Son can carry the mother, what's the problem? Come on. Sita Devi says, no, actually, the real reason is my husband Ram has appeared in this world to reveal that each one of us will go through difficult situations in life of such a nature. Not always, but there will be moments of difficulty and adversity we will go through where our political power will not help, our intellectual power will not help, our social capital power will not help, our economic power will not help, our educational power will not help, nothing will help. At that point, the soul must realize, I am totally, utterly powerless. And at this point, I need to simply, helplessly take shelter of Supreme Lord Sri Ram. Jai Sri Ram! When we take shelter of that Lord Ram, then he comes and rescues us. Therefore, Hanumanji, if I, who is in great difficulty, trapped by Ravana in Lanka, I have a choice. You are making an offer, jump on my back and go, it is a shortcut. It's an idea. If I use this shortcut and go back, future generations of people, when they are in deep difficulty, they will think, let me also follow in footsteps of Sita. Find out some shortcut. They will invest all their energy searching for a shortcut rather than seeking shelter of Ram. And therefore we need to inspire people to seek shelter of Lord Ram. And now, after the opening of the Lord Ram's temple in Ayodhya, every single day, lakhs of people are coming. I am just coming from there, and I can see that in Kumbh Mela we would see on Mauni Amavas day or main Snan days such crowds. Every day in Ayodhya has become like Kumbh Mela. The whole world is becoming full of consciousness of Lord Ram. So therefore, this is the core culture of Bharatvarsh. That yes, we do our duty diligently, dutifully, dedicatedly, with discipline, with diligence, but on the foundation of total utter dependence on Lord Ram, dependence on Krishna. And that is the dependence which Gajendra is realizing I must have at this stage. Without that dependence, it is not possible. And therefore, Yah kaschaneshu balinantako ragat prachanda vegat abhidhavato brisham bhitam prapannam paripatayat bhayat mrityu pradhavati aranam tam imahi. So, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, who is the person to whom you surrender? This verse describes the Lord. The wind blows out of fear of the Lord, sun rises out of fear of the Lord. Everything flees from the Lord. Mrityu is that representative of the Lord which takes away everything from us. The material world is a place of distress and disaster. So therefore, Sita Devi told Lord Hanumanji, I have to depend on Lord Ram. Wait for him patiently. And also, Sundari Raghunathasya Surastri Dukkha Shantaye Dashananasya Bhavane Dashamasan Nibeshayan. She says, Hanumanji, if I take your help and go back to Lord Ram, I will escape. But what will happen to the millions of the other queens and heavenly denizens and apsaras who have been kidnapped forcibly by Ravan and kept in Lanka? If I wait for Lord Ram to come, Lord Ram will not only free me, he will free all of them. Therefore, Sita Devi is compassion personified. And so, this material world is a place of distress. We have nothing to offer except our consciousness. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada established International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Let me offer my consciousness to Krishna. That is what Gajendra is offering. I was doing Pujari Seva in Chopati. One young boy came and gave me a bag and said, offer this to Radha Gopinath. I looked inside the bag, it was a boxing gloves. I said, I can't offer boxing gloves to the deities. He said, I am a boxer. I heard in the Gita, course, whatever new you buy, you should offer to Krishna. I have come with these gloves. You are a pujari, don't ask too many questions, just offer. I offered and gave back the gloves to him and said, now I have offered it to the deities, to Radha Gopinath. What you will do with these gloves? He said, whoever I hit will get Gopinath's Mahaprasad. I said, is that the purpose of human form of life? The human form of life is not meant just to beat others, but it is meant to beat illusion, ignorance, and our obsession with material lust, greed, and anger. Let us not focus on competing and outdoing others. Let us focus on competing with our own previous self and improving ourselves than what we were before. Yes, competition is good, very important. Whom we should compete with? Ourselves only. You will never be bored. And that's the idea of satsanga. Otherwise, material world is a place of misery. Prosperity, adversity is inevitable. You cannot stop. Prabhupada was in Mexico. One servant was massaging Srila Prabhupada. Big mosquitoes were biting. The servant saw mosquitoes are biting him, but not Prabhupada. Mosquitoes are not biting Prabhupada. Servant said, Prabhupada, looks like the mosquitoes are biting me, but they are not biting you because you are a pure devotee. Prabhupada said, maybe in Mexico it is like that, but in Kolkata the mosquitoes make no difference. And then Prabhupada said, material world means place of misery. You cannot avoid. With all the heavenly delights available to Gajendra, for 1,000 years, Gajendra is a complete personification of misery, being pulled by the crocodile. So Gajendra got the crocodile. We will get some situation, some person, some circumstance in our life which will trap our consciousness like a crocodile and will not allow us to be freed from that. And you may think, to forget it, let me go to Switzerland, let me go to, Las Vegas, let me go to Los Angeles, let me go to this. You go to any corner of the universe. When that crocodile of that particular anxiety has caught you, you cannot free yourself from those circumstances. When we cannot go beyond circumstances, there is no point investing in improving the circumstance. Invest in improving the consciousness. And that is what Gajendra is doing. And that is the main core lesson from the pastime of Gajendra. That now Gajendra starts focusing on meditating on the Supreme, expressing his dependence on the Supreme, and begins his prayers, which we will discuss in our session at 1 o'clock. Thank you all very much. So Prabhu, you want to come forward? Yes, please. Somebody is going to make some announcement.
Hare Krishna. So many wonderful lessons, and everyone must have taken a lot of lessons. Invest and improve our consciousness and nothing else. And adversities in sadhaka's life is to become closer to Krishna. Seek shelter of Lord. Prabhu is coming from Ayodhya, and then of course quite a long time he has been serving in Ayodhya now. And simple lessons for a simple person like me. Just before eating, throughout your life, if you offer it to Krishna, and then how does Krishna reciprocate, we heard. And Grihasthas have a great hope, he said the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya with Sarvam Bhattacharya. However powerful one may be, one has to depend on Krishna's mercy. He was quoting Balasya Neham Prahlad quotations. And devotional, if you are grateful, devotional service is simple. Let's not become angry on the instruments of our karma. Let's offer our consciousness to Krishna. And we'll see every now and then, for every 2-3 minutes, he is quoting Srila Prabhupada. How glorious that, how dedicated is he to Srila Prabhupada. Big Haribol to Gauranga Prabhu. So today's program will be, so the temple management team request the blessings of all the Vaishnavis assembled here on this auspicious day of Vasanta Panchami, on the auspicious Tribhu of Vishwanath Thakur. The new guest house, is meant for accommodating more and more Vaishnavas to come and serve Krishna here. So the guest house construction is about to begin. From today it's going to happen. We request a little austerity. We appeal to all of you. Just come out at the end of the announcement, do a kirtan to begin the inauguration of this guest house, and then we can go for prasad. And particularly I would like to invite Aristaha Prabhu, Srila Prabhupada disciple, is humbly sitting here. Gauranga Prabhu, who is there, and Balram Shakti Prabhu, and so many wonderful devotees I may not have noticed, and we'll have the fortune of His Holiness Banasai Maharaj being with us. So please join us for this wonderful guest house program. At about 12:15, today we will end the second lecture, so that 12:15 to 12:45 will be puja offering to Vishwanath Thakur, and then 12:45 to 1 will be your juice break, and 1 o'clock again we'll have Gauranga Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. So Vamsidhar Prabhu is here? Mallet. Oh, yeah, okay. Hare Krishna. Prasanna, are we ready?